Assalamu alaikum and very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I feel privileged to be speaking at this grand festival that has gathered a huge community across the globe in a unique hybrid format to connect and celebrate upon opportunities and challenges of today's tech world. The High Commissioner, Ms. Sana Zah, who is doing a mandatory course in Islamabad, has sent her greetings and best wishes for Pakistan's productive participation in the festival. I wish success to Pakistan FinTech Association and Monetary Authority of Singapore on her behalf. Their collaboration has made today's event a possibility. We particularly appreciate 12 startups which form part of this year's Pakistan chapter in the festival. They sustained the momentum generated last year by the first ever participation of Pakistani startups in the Singapore FinTech Festival under Pakistan High Commission's initiative Start. We hope that our association continues in the years to come. Our efforts are part of the larger national vision of Digital Pakistan that entails ensuring availability of accessible, affordable, reliable, universal, and high quality information and communication technologies towards the goal of empowering citizens and improving their lives. Global connections and international cooperation are crucial to achieve this vision, and the government is cognizant of this. Recently, Pakistan joined several Middle Eastern countries to form a digital cooperation organization to cater to the growing need of international collaboration in the emerging technologies domain, fintech being one of the primary ones. Pakistan's participation in Singapore FinTech Festival is also part of our international outreach efforts to connect with the industry leaders, share innovative ideas, and more importantly, attract investment into one of the largest markets of the world. Ladies and gentlemen, FinTech today is the epicenter of global digital transformation. Global investment in financial technology has exploded in recent years, making it a multi-billion-dollar industry. According to FinTech Index report, 74% of world's consumers use some form of FinTech service for money transfer or payment. However, financial inclusion in Pakistan is a grim 15%, which is less than half of the average 33% for the lower middle income countries. This indicates a relatively slow pace of adoption of financial technology tools on one hand, and on the other indicates an enormous space awaiting exploration by torchbearers in the fintech world. Several features make Pakistan an ideal candidate for flourishing fintech ecosystem. I'll point to a few of these. First, the tele-density has increased from 60% to 80%, while the broadband penetration has quadrupled to 40% over past 5 years. This has already resulted in an impressive economic market with an e-commerce market with an increased focus on enhanced service delivery and customer satisfaction. A visible shift in consumer preference in favor of digital payments through mobile phones has been witnessed in recent times. With 165 million biometrically certified SIMs, fintechs could ace in this expansive playing field. Secondly, a youth bulge with world's fifth largest population between the ages of 15 to 29 years. This rapidly growing technology-savvy and entrepreneurial youth is an asset that could spearhead fintech innovation and consumption of services in Pakistan. The government has already taken several measures such as setting up of incubation centers, encouraging freelancing, and boosting international collaboration to maximally utilize this potential. Thirdly, a dynamic and progressive monetary authority, the State Bank of Pakistan, in its role as a regulator, operator, and facilitator, has been promoting digital financial services in Pakistan through measures like branchless banking, strong regulatory frameworks, and facilitating fintech companies. The recent initiative of the Roshan Digital Account is one glaring example of the State Bank of Pakistan's commitment to technology-based solutions. The digital account would assist millions of overseas Pakistanis in undertaking fund transfers, bill payments, and investment activities in Pakistan. Fourthly, a robust database system, NADRA, which could form the mainstay of digital infrastructure in Pakistan. With 96% of the adults registered at NADRA with a smart national identity card, the financial inclusion, particularly of the vulnerable and marginalized segments of the society, could be easily achieved. Private fintech supported by international groups are already stepping in this domain, as seen by the emergence of EasyPaisa digital payment platform that allows customers to access electronic transactions. Similarly, JazzCash, that began as mobile app for topping up airtime and data, turned to payments app and now holds a microfinance banking license. Lastly, a continuous support from a sizable Pakistani diaspora of IT professionals who are both willing and capable of establishing fintech startups. With their exposure of Silicon Valley and familiarity with working in successful startup ecosystems, these individuals give impetus to new initiatives by providing advocacy for policy change, encouraging investor activity, and deploying networking tools for promoting business linkages. Ladies and gentlemen, while advancement in fintech has been happening at lightning speed, we have only just begun to scratch the surface of what is possible and likely to happen in the next few years. For countries like Pakistan, the fourth revolution represents a unique opportunity to leapfrog the development deficit. According to McKinsey & Company, fintech would help create 4 million jobs in Pakistan and 93 million bank accounts, which could add to $7 billion US dollars by 2025. The overall tech sector of the country would reach 20 billion mark by then. Singapore, with its huge foreign investment portfolio of 650 billion US dollars, can benefit immensely from Pakistan's emerging fintech potential. Singaporean companies can tap into a huge reserve of qualified and talented professionals at a fraction of the cost compared to over here. The friendly, open, and liberal investment policies designed to create a conducive business environment for foreign companies would be an added advantage. The bilateral trade between Pakistan and Singapore currently stands at a meager 1 billion US dollars, which points to a gap that needs to be bridged. Investment from Singaporean fintech industry in Pakistan would help bridge this gap and forge meaningful economic and investment relations between the two countries. Benefits of improving fintech are not only confined to economic realm. Access to financial products and services has proven to promote gender equality and women empowerment. It allows the women to better manage their lives. A Harvard study found that women in the emerging markets reinvest 90% of every dollar earned into human resources, that is education, nutrition, and health, compared to only up to 40% of every dollar earned by men. Imagine the shape of our society when women in areas like interior Sindh or rural Balochistan could have access and capacity to benefit from fintech products and services for payments, savings, and investments. That could be the true impact of fintech. I'm sure my fellow speakers today would have a lot more to share with you in terms of fintech investment potential for international sponsors, as well as its accruing benefits for Pakistani economy and society. I believe this interaction will open up fresh avenues of collaboration between Pakistan and Singapore. I thank you all for joining in the Pakistan chapter of Singapore FinTech Festival 2020 and look forward to a more substantive participation in the next year's festival in a COVID-free environment. Wish you a fruitful interactive session. I thank you.